Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Red Elevator. Today is part 2 of our Q&A. Part 1, as you saw last week, was really about my personal journey. But today, we are going to answer your burning questions, the ones you submitted on Instagram stories. So follow me and let's get right into it. So welcome back, friends. I'm a lot more relaxed now because last week you guys saw the episode of me giving you my very deep and personal story about how it was that I transformed my life. So if you want to learn all about part 1 of this very exciting episode where I actually divulge a lot of personal information, I was extremely nervous. So if you watch me and say Nina is not acting like herself, it's because it was a little bit difficult to go there. I'm really vibrant when I talk about interior design, but very shy when I talk about myself. So if you want to hear more about my personal journey, how I overcame a tremendous heartache, a tremendous end to a life that I thought I was meant to live, I highly recommend that you watch this episode to learn more about my journey. So back to what's super exciting, interior design, where I come alive. And our very first question comes from Laj Toslao, who asks, when did I know interior design was the career for me? Before I get into that, I want you guys to know that we asked on my stories approximately 10 days ago what questions you wanted answered. Those questions are the ones that I'm answering today. As you can see, many people chimed in and had a lot of questions. So I'm going to answer as many as I possibly can. Some of them did overlap. But this takes me to the important part. If you're not following me on Instagram, I highly recommend that you do. It takes 1 second. Go to Instagram. My handle is the same, at Nina Takesh. In fact, we have another giveaway, which I will announce at the end of this episode. So make sure that you follow me and give this video a thumbs up so that you can continuously get updated on all the fun giveaways that we're going to be having this year. So when did I find interior designer was meant for me was basically at birth. So if you were born believing you should be something, you should do it. I wanted to go to architecture school, but I decided that I'd rather go to business school, which I don't actually regret. I am very happy that I went to business school because it gave me a general understanding of how to run a business, which has helped me in my interior design business. But I was born to be an interior designer. There is no question about that. It was in me. I was browsing my father's architectural digest. When I was very young, I was collecting them, putting them in my bookcase before the age of 10. I think I was 8 when I started looking at homes. I took AP art at high school. I would draw buildings, I would draw interiors. People would draw friends and their dogs and family and objects, and I would draw basically interiors. So I just knew, and it's what really excited me. Next question comes from Pega Amuzagar. I don't know why I'm snapping people. This is really annoying. So I'm gonna stop, okay? Okay, sorry. Do apologize. So Pega Muzagar asks, there it is again, I was about to snap. Pega Muzagar asks, what 3D software do you guys use in your renderings? And we use a combination of different softwares. I have a great team that is highly proficient in CAD, but we use SketchUp really for our 3D elevations, and we also use Procreate. Also, I personally use a software by the name of Neo Foyer, which I've talked about before in the past, which I love because for people like me who don't know CAD, I honestly don't know CAD and I don't have the time to learn, I can pop things pretty easily. It's pretty intuitive into Neo Foyer. And for those of you who are interested, there she is. If you want to learn how to use that software program, I did an entire segment on it, and that would be a great way for you guys to learn more about that software. So Julia Yu asks, what are relatively affordable furniture places to shop from? And I did actually an entire video about where interior designers shop. So if you want a deep dive, I recommend, boom, that you watch this episode because there's a lot of good details in there. But for now, I'd like to say that I love shopping at CB2, very affordable, very good looking. Then I would also like to recommend Industry West. Now, Industry West, I stumbled upon while I was in New York right now on an installation trip for a client, and I couldn't believe it. I walked in, I had seen them on the internet, and the stuff was pretty good, I have to say, in terms of quality and price ratio. So Industry West is something you should definitely keep an eye out for. And by the way, all of these will be listed in the description section below, so not to fret, keep watching. Make sure you give this a thumbs up. This will keep the algorithm happy, which in turn will make me happy, which in turn will give you the ability to learn all my secrets. Next question comes from Tasneem Surteam. By the way, all of these questions were asked on my Instagram stories. We asked about 10 days ago, what are your questions that you want answered? And here we are answering them. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you're missing out on opportunities to ask questions that could be answered for free. So please do follow me on Instagram. I provide a great deal of interesting information regarding what I'm doing in 2022. We're working on a flip, for example, a brand new, I should say an old house that will be brand new when I'm done with it. And I'm gonna show you the entire process of this flip. It's super exciting. In fact, I'm gonna be there in about an hour to check on what's happening with our framing. But do follow me on Instagram so that you too can get all of the inside information. So Tasneem asks, should you do a matte or a glossy floor? Essentially, should it be honed, which is matte, or should it be polished, which means shiny? And in my opinion, right now, I'm going for matte. Matte is great. It disguises a lot of the imperfections. It's easy to maintain, and it just looks great. So Violet Fiore asks, what is my favorite bar stool or kitchen stool? And Violet, thank you for asking. I almost feel like I called you to tell you to ask this question because I happen to have designed right here my very own bar stools. These stools are made from a passionate project of mine that I will be revealing soon as well. But essentially they're beautiful white oak, and you could do any kind of fabric that you want on this particular piece. Information regarding my specific bar stool will be in the description section. I know it's expensive because it's handmade, etc. So if you are looking for something similar that is more affordable, then I really recommend that you look at the bar stools on article.com, as they are quite affordable and actually look very stylish. Sharad asks, what are 2022? By the way, before I even get into the question, 2022 trends was just released, you guys. What is trending in 2022? If you haven't seen that episode, bam, here it is. I feel like I'm just plugging myself left and right. I really am not. None of this is sponsored. This is just me being me, pretending I'm on The Price is Right. Anyway, Sharad, if you want to know what's happening in 2022, click here. But your specific question was, what are the bedroom trends in 2022 and what are the colors of 2022? So I'm going to quickly answer that question. However, if you want to know what the 2022 color trend is, that was released by Farrow & Ball, Sherwin-Williams, some of the Dunn Edwards, some of the big paint companies. I recommend that you watch this beauty. And in that particular episode, you are going to find out exactly what the colors are. With regard to bedrooms, the trend is tranquility and peace. It's a little bit obvious, but it's tranquility and peace with a touch of nature, some rusts. We are doing a lot of oversized, and by oversized, I don't mean vertically, I mean horizontally oversized headboard. So the headboard starts behind you, as you can see in some of these pop-up photos, and they extend out behind the nightstands. And so this is a very fun trend that we're seeing a lot in 2022, and we are seeing a lot of chaise longues. Places where you can actually lounge in your bedroom that's not your bed because of COVID and people working from home is also quite hot and trending, so that you can actually work from your bedroom without feeling like a complete, what's the word? Schmutt. Is that a word? Next question comes from Yvette. Yvette asks a very great question. They ask, what window treatments do you recommend? And Yvette, I wish I could answer this for you in about 10 seconds, but it would be incomplete. And for that reason, and because of you, Yvette, we are going to have an entire episode on window treatments. And the reason I'm going to do that is because it is something that I get frequently asked about, and everybody's getting wrong. And I mean, everybody is getting wrong. I even find interior designers are getting this wrong. So it is definitely worthwhile. I promise you guys it's going to come out in 2022. This is the time to subscribe because you might not get that ding alerting you that this video is out. So I highly recommend that you subscribe now. It takes 10 seconds and you will be able to see all of these very, very mind-blowing, informative videos. That was me doing my cross-eyed. I used to do that in grammar school. It was really fun. Anyway, Mastering You Mentor asks, okay, I just remembered, any insights on how to declutter your home? This is a very important question, and it is very simple. You walk around the house and you start removing everything. Less is definitely more, in my opinion, in interior design, unless you're going for some crazy maximalist moment, which you would do in one room and not every room. So get rid of little tiny little things. I don't like little things. So if you're at a loss, remove pictures, picture frames. Framed photos are, in my opinion, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of sound off on this. I don't like them. They are very personal. If someone comes to your home because they want to see you, they don't need a photo of you. You're there in person. So putting pictures of yourself and your family all over, I think it's not my thing. I don't like it. If you have photos of yourself everywhere, please remove them. Maybe do a fantastic photo of yourself on a trip and blow it up in an art format. I'm not saying don't love yourself, but love yourself chic. Do a black and white, 50 by 60 photograph that you like and frame it, but do remove all the family photos. If you would like to access your family photos, put it in a private space. I recommend my clients have one designated wall, one designated area for those that are sentimental and want to look at family photos. For me, that's a little too painful, and I don't need to be constantly reminded of those that have passed. Next question comes from Gigi Miami. Gigi asks, cute name by the way, my niece's name. Gigi asks, what advice would you give to a professional young woman starting a family? And that is a wonderful question that we're going to close with, because there is nothing better than having children. Husbands is a whole different matter. Children, absolutely. So I say that if your focus is on having children, do not delay it. Do not say, well, my boss might get mad. Because by the way, your boss will not be there when you're old, and that boss will not be taking care of you when you're old. So you must emphasize what's important in your life. And the emphasis for you is children. Don't wait. Fertility goes down the hill. By the time I decided that maybe I wanted more children, it was too late because I focused too much on my work. And I do regret that. But that's a whole other kit and caboodle in a different episode about fertility, which we are not going to get into. So my entire existence is about my children. And it is the best thing. So I wouldn't delay. Having children is my advice to you. And second, balance. Balance in the beginning is important. Get help. For those of you who think that having help is a bad thing, I must disagree, because then when you are working, you're not stressed out. And when you come home, you can have the important one-on-one time with your child that you wouldn't normally have, because you are not so angry for having to do everything. So getting help is really important. You're also employing another human being, which is great, because everybody needs a job. And if you can find somebody that you trust, you can have a lot of special moments with your child where you're not actually physically running around doing things, but you're actually present. So being present with your kids is some of the best advice I can give you, because before you know it, they're gone. And by the way, mine are gone. I have one stepson, one biological son, and they're both gone. And this house is very, very empty. So do start your family. Do make that a priority. Before you know it, they'll be gone. And luckily, they will always be by your side. Time for my shout out. I want to thank my loyal followers. I would like to give a shout out to Katie Burgett and to Gail Walton. Thank you for being so loyal. So on last week's episode, we talked about giving away 2 Bubble Bar blankets. These blankets are so fun. This is not sponsored. I am asking all the people that reach out to me, hey, if you want to give me something, we got to give something to somebody who is loyal. So we are going to give away 2 blankets that have the monogrammed names, or the name or your initials on them. They look wonderful. They're fantastic. You know what Justin just did? He said, I don't think you're ready. He did that on purpose because he wants to make sure that I do it in one take, because he thinks by giving me the opposite result of what's going to happen is going to make me do this in one take, which I will. I want to thank you guys again and again and again and again and again for being so wonderful and so kind and always giving. And everybody always tells me your followers are really nice. And I don't get negative comments because you guys are so nice, and I love you guys for that. So thank you. I never leave negative comments, by the way, ever, 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 even if I've had a really negative experience, because what you give out comes right back at you. So make it positive, make it loving. Thank you everyone for joining us on this Q&A episode. If you like this kind of Q&A, please let me know below so that we give you the content that you are looking for. We want to do right by you. We want to, we're not doing this for any other purpose than to educate, to have fun, and we want to hear what you guys want to know about. So thanks again, and we'll see you next week in this One Take Wonder Nina video, the red elevator. See you next week.
Wow.
I did it!